Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the open theater presentation of the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition based here in the US. I'm Ann Wu, Senior Director of Corporate Citizenship from Samsung Electronics America, and it's my pleasure to share with you some of the great work that students have done. So the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition is a nationwide contest inviting middle and high schools, grades 6 through 12, to answer a challenge, which is show how STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and math, can be applied to improve your local community. We present this challenge every year for the past 9 years, and we've been so excited to have tens of thousands of students enter the competition since its inception, and have administered more than $20 million of Samsung technology and prizes every year to every state across the country. 9 years ago, when we started Samsung Solve for Tomorrow, it was our goal to help address a gap. That's getting students interested in STEM subjects as a pursuit of study and eventually a career. And we thought that by partnering with schools and communities across the country, we could help to introduce that conversation in a new and exciting way. Our contest invites students to incorporate some out-of-box thinking and address issues in a problem-solving manner. And we've really been able to, over the years, unlock the true potential of students, that passion for community change, and really that desire to show a difference that they can make. So this year, we have with us 3 schools who were part of the competition last year. And I know you don't want to hear me talk, you want to hear them talk. So let's get started. The first school we'd like to have come up to the stage is Santiago High School from Corona, California. They created an app-based fire extinguishing sprinkler system to protect homes against wildfires. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Harshal, Lauren, and their teacher, Ms. Bergen. Come on up. Have a seat. So, do you mind if I have that clicker? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Dolly Bergen, and I'm from Corona Norco Unified School District. I have been teaching physics for the past 21 years.
Hi, I'm Lauren Shim. I'm 18 years old, and I'm attending UC San Diego.
Hi, my name is Harshal Patel. I'm 17 years old, and I'm attending UC San Diego as well.
Okay, so how many of you guys have heard of a wildfire? Okay. How many of you guys have lived in California or visited California? Everyone, yeah. And then how many of you have known someone or you yourself has been impacted by a wildfire?
Did you know that fire respondents average a time of 6 minutes according to the Corona Fire Department? What can you do within these 6 minutes? Within the past 21 years, the United States alone has had over 1.5 million fires reported across the United States, spreading across acres and acres of land.
In the events of El Niño, there is a large discrepancy between the amounts of precipitation along with temperatures. This directly affects the likelihood of a wildfire occurring. California recently had one of the worst droughts in history, lasting for 3 consecutive years, which elevates the chances of wildfire severity.
According to CAL FIRE, 1.2 million acres of land were damaged due to wildfires in the year of 2017 alone. And according to the U.S. Fire Administration, 93 brave firefighters lost their lives in the line of service. Each acre of land costs approximately $2,000. This equates to billions of dollars spent in fighting wildfires every year.
One of our classmates within last year was affected directly by the canyon fire, which made him miss school to the point where he had to make sure that his home was damp enough so that an ember wouldn't come into his ventilation system. Imagining all the stress you would have knowing that you're a student and knowing that your house is in danger. We know that no person should ever feel like this. This is why we created Project Phoenix.
Now, most people believe that wildfires actually cause damage to a house by coming near it and engulfing it in flames. But contrary to this belief, wildfires are much more dangerous to this. Wildfires don't even have to get anywhere close to these homes. In fact, the embers created by the wildfires can sneak in through the ventilation of the homes and then start, and within the ventilation, there's the material can catch on fire very easily. So this is why we have a system of sprinklers located underneath the eaves of the home, angled towards the critical locations, such as the ventilation and the roof.
Also, the roof will have alternating angles in an X formation in order to disseminate water on both exteriors. These sprinklers will be located in critical areas in order to ensure that the whole exterior of the house is doused with flagship. The dampened exterior would drastically reduce the chances of a wildfire ember entering within the home.
So you might be wondering what flagship is. Flagship is actually a material that is 80% water, 10% phosphorus, and 10% of antioxidants. Some properties of this material is that it's able to stick to almost any surface, and it doesn't release any harmful chemicals towards the ozone layer. So if this were to become a large-scale product, it would become economically friendly. Also, with its ability to stick to almost any surface, this would only have to be applied once to the critical locations. Thus, only 20 gallons would be used, making it economically friendly and low cost.
Hypothetically, say my friend Harshal here has a fire near his home. The app using ArcGIS live fire map will detect a fire within a 15-mile radius, will notify Harshal with an Ember Alert from Project Phoenix. We chose a 15-mile radius because wildfires can move at an astonishing rate of 7.5 miles per hour, which gives the homeowner 2 hours to evacuate, prepare, and turn on the system. Along with the Ember Alert, Harshal will also receive information about the time, size, and location of the wildfire.
The system will be run for 6 minutes, which is just enough time for the first fire responders to arrive on the scene. We envision this product to be working with the local municipal government and local fire department in order to suit their needs, to support them within that 6-minute time frame.
Even insurance companies and cities can benefit from this. Cities ranging from Chicago to New York City, and even including all of Maui, would be burnt down in the comparison of the 2017 Thomas Fire. Napa Fire, $6 billion. Thomas Fire, $1.7 billion. It takes one app and 6 minutes to prevent the expansion and growth of one wildfire.
We believe that this technological innovation will lead to safer homes in the future. What can you do in 6 minutes? You can make this possibility a reality.
Project Phoenix. Thank you so much.
So part of the presentation and having these students here with us this afternoon is to actually hear from the audience, a couple of minutes of Q&A, but the magic of these ideas, and we think Solve for Tomorrow being the platform, is that these are not final ideas. These are concepts that iterate, that improve based on feedback and learning, like many of us innovating on technology need to do. It's not a final answer. So we encourage the audience to really ask some questions, give some suggestions, and feel free to ask what you want. I'll kick off the question. So I've known about this project for the span of the year, and one of the big insights for me is growing up on the East Coast, wildfires was a West Coast thing. And not something that is really an East Coast kind of issue, just like, earthquakes are more like a West Coast thing than an East Coast thing. But, what was really interesting is the applicability of your idea. While it's originated with the wildfires that were going on here on the West Coast, it's something that applies everywhere. You talked about Chicago and New York. So when you were coming up with your idea, did you think about the span of different use cases, or was it something that was first really thought about for Corona and moved on from there?
I think we pretty much focused on Corona specifically because that hit so close to home, and especially as we had like 5 wildfires happening at the same time. So it was more of our concern, and then as we were doing more research, we saw how this can expand to such a big project, and that's what we're hoping to envision and apply to other cities too.
Also, looking back through the process, it came to a point where I did not wanted to turn in a proposal anymore. And then my thinking was, I think this is a stupid idea, kind of. And then I'm like, I'm dropping off my child to the daycare. I'm like, if this was a good idea, then this should be present in every home. And so on my way, I said, there's nothing like this. And so I went on with that, intuition, like this could go somewhere. And so with that was the inspiration itself, that it could help other people. And climate change, the debate on climate change is no longer a debate. You have the rising temperature on our planet. There's so much data backing up climate change. Let's say just, 97.1%, sure. But there really is no debate. So it came also to a point when I realized, like, we can't just say fire season, because we started saying fire season already because it sounded for me like, oh, we can't solve this anymore, so let's just kind of like accept it the way it is. And for me, that was just not acceptable, So I told the kids, okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do. Let's see how you guys wanna go with this. And so everything, the kids did it by themselves. And so you just have to trust them. Trust the process, trust the kids, give the kids the opportunity to be able to think through a project, to be able to solve a community problem, and I promise you they will pull through it.
I think we have a question on this side. Oh, there's someone behind you.
Well, first of all, that is an absolutely marvelous idea and a marvelous presentation. So I have a question, and before I ask it, what was the closing statement that you made, young lady? I was trying to take notes and it went a little fast. Do you recall what your last sentence was? You said something about it was minutes or hours or something?
Is it the cities ranging from Chicago to New York City, and even including all of Maui? Would burn down in comparison to the 2017 Thomas Fire. Napa Fire, $6 billion. Thomas Fire, $1.7 billion. Okay. That's how much it caused of destruction from the wildfires.
Okay, thank you. And that's actually my follow-on question is, where did you get the, I guess they call it techno-economic number these days, when you said there's 1.2 million acres that were lost in 2017, each one is worth $2,000? And I think most of us would look around at an acre of trees and say, a god darn acre of trees is only worth $2,000. Think of how much carbon they save, for example.
When I was typing the last proposal, the final and formal proposal for this, the night before the deadline, I turned on my TV and it was basically showing us that the Thomas Fire has just started. And so CDC had all the data on the television. And so I just started taking pictures, and then I pulled up every statistics of previous wildfires that has happened in California for the past 10 years. And so I used those data, those statistics included in the proposal.
So I just have 2 questions. My first one is, first of all, this is amazing. We had so many family affected by the fire. It was crazy. So my first question would be, is this something that would need to be you said it had the 20-gallon capacity. Is this something that would have to be done every fire season, refilled every fire season as a preventative measure? And my second question is there a range with would be an application on a phone that could do this? And what would be the range from that? Can somebody from San Jose, who has a home in Tahoe, spray their home in Tahoe, right, to take care of that?
So to go along with the application question, I didn't get to say that because I did forget in the pitch. I'm sorry about that. But basically, there will be an app, and basically that will wirelessly connect you to a Raspberry Pi, which is a computing system that allows you to turn on your system whenever you need to, so anywhere within the world. So that's the whole point of this, app to make sure that you protect it. And then along with what you were saying with the 20 gallons, what we're focusing on is how much you use, like a basis need. If you use your system a lot, then you're gonna have to refill it every now and then, but it's just more of it depends on how often you use your system.
We also want to try to get the municipal government involved with this so we can tap into their pipelines and use the water from the city. And then the FOSS-check, this material, can be diluted into the water from the city into an own tank. Yeah, so you just have to replace this FOSS-check material. Yeah, that's it.
Well, if there are no further questions, I just want to thank the students coming up from college, from their fall semester at UC Santiago, to come share their idea and their project with us today. Thank you very much. Thanks. So the next school we have is Cavallini Middle School from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. What they did was they developed a software system and sensors for football helmets to more accurately and quickly identify potential concussions. So please welcome Jake and Ian to the stage with their teacher, Mr. Harvey.
So I'm Jonathan Harvey. I have the privilege to teach gifted and talented an enrichment class in Cavallini Middle School from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey.
I'm 14 years old. I'm Ian Langan from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey.
I'm 14 years old. My name is Jake Carlin. I'm also from Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. The running back gets the ball, runs right, cuts through the hole, 30, 40. Wow, what a hit. His helmet flew off. But wait, why isn't he getting it up? In this situation, everyone would know that the player has received a concussion or an injury along those lines. But what if he had gotten up? What if he continued playing with a life-threatening injury such as a concussion? Did you know that 5 out of every 10 concussions go undetected, and 1 player on each football team receives a concussion each season? Well, we experienced this firsthand when one of our good friends received a concussion during the middle of a football game.
Concussions can ruin kids' lives when they receive a concussion during a game and no one notices. They then continue to play, getting hit in the head more and more while their brain is still vulnerable. Because of this, many states, including our home state of New Jersey, have proposed laws attempting to ban youth football for all kids under the age of 12.
We knew that concussions were a big problem, not only in our state, not only in the country, but in the world. So we created a way to help everyone in our community, in our country, and in the world. Our sensor, powered by a lithium-ion battery, uses 2 accelerometers along with a processor to calculate possible concussions. The data is then sent to our app through Bluetooth to notify a coach on the sidelines that the player should be taken out of the game. This allows the player concussion to not only be noticed, but to be diagnosed, saving the player from possible injury.
The app receives the data directly from the sensor using Bluetooth. So when a hit occurs that could cause a possible concussion, a notification and audio cue will be sent to the coach or trainer through the device the app is downloaded on. The coach or trainer would then immediately be able to take the injured player out of the game, as the processor can process the information in real time and then is able to immediately send the information to the app. All of our software and code is open source software using Arduino code and MIT App Inventor. They are both very easy to use and free to use. So anybody who would like to use it is able to go and change it easily to fit what they want to do with it. Our goal with our code is to be able to share it with communities across the country, whether that's our hometown of Upper Saddle River, New Jersey, or the city of San Francisco, so that they would be able to affordably be able to build their own sensors to help keep their players safe, or be able to use our code to add to a sensor they may already have.
Whether it be a middle school team, a high school team, a college team, or even a company like Riddell, anyone can use our open source software through our website. All they have to do is download it. Our current goal is to get our app further developed and to get our sensor tested by a university or college.
The sensor is inserted directly into the helmet using Velcro. It is an accelerometer sensor, which differs from a pressure sensor, which is more commonly used in concussion sensors, because an accelerometer is able to detect the force of a hit on the brain no matter where on the body it occurs, while a pressure sensor can only detect the force of a hit if the hit occurs directly to the pressure sensor. So the sports world right now is in great need of a product that would help keep athletes safe at a young age from concussions. We believe HeadSafe can do this. The goal of our sensor, as I think we've said, isn't to avoid the big concussions that are very obvious, but instead help coaches spot the smaller ones that could build up over time and which could be more dangerous in the long run. So our goal with HeadSafe is to make sure that kids can play sports safely without having to worry about any long-term brain injuries they may acquire.
Football and other high-impact sports are some of the most dangerous activities due to the high probability of concussion. But we don't think it should be like that. Do you want your kid's passion to have such a high probability of a life-changing injury? If not, join us on the path to safety, to having no worry of athletes in danger, to having all concussions go detected. Thank you.
Have a seat. So as you heard, these are, it's a team of 4 students from Cavallini Middle School, and they were all athletes who had a classmate of theirs, a friend of theirs, get a concussion. So this is something that very much hit home for them. And, one of the other points that I think are really interesting is that, your idea detects and provides more data than what's currently commercially out there. So what made you think about progressing your idea further than what you saw already available?
Well, one thing we noticed when we looked at sensors already on the market is that 2 things that differ greatly is, well, one, they're very expensive. One of the big ones is Riddell makes one, but it's a couple $100. But ours was our processor and all of our sensors only cost around $70 to buy, and then all of the code is free to use, and they could just access what we've done with it. So it'd be a lot more affordable for maybe cities and towns with teams that don't have as much money to be able to keep their athletes safe. And also, it works directly to a phone, which is a lot more convenient than what a lot of the other sensors have, which is a whole separate device that the coach would have to hold on the sideline.
That's great. I think it's really great that these students, in thinking about not only getting more data, especially when you're doing a cursory check by a coach or a physician that may be there, but to really make better choices with more information and then make it cost affordable and accessible for so many. And so what we saw with the students of Cavallini onward and other schools as well, it was just the idea of open source, the idea of sharing their idea and not making proprietary. Because when we're talking about community impact, it's not about profitability, but really scaling it by making it more available to as many students as possible. So that's really inspirational for you to take that perspective in your work. Are there any questions from the audience that you'd like to ask?
It's sort of a comment type question. Are you going to be here long enough to head down to Palo Alto? Because Jeremy Bailenson and Derek Belch, who is the former head of the Stanford football team, are doing stuff with technology to make football a better sport. They would love what you're doing. And they also have some pretty good connections with government and other educational institutions. And that's basically it. I've got the website info here. But if you can stay long enough to go down to Palo Alto, you should.
All right, thank you. We'll definitely look into that.
I have to say, as just an aside, I've been commenting, I guess, throughout the course of the year, just to see these students sort of evolve from the first idea of the project until now, and it's kind of been amazing. These were, they're freshmen in high school now, but these were middle school students who were able to really take something that was very close to home and build something that is not actually out there in the marketplace today. So just the ability to take on something really, really close to home, but then to continue. I remember one of the lessons of the whole project was learning how to code. What was that like for you guys?
Learning how to code has really been extremely interesting experience. It's allowed us, me, and everyone else in the group to unlock a new avenue to express ourselves, and the stuff we can create with it is really so personal because we've built it up by ourselves every step of the way.
Yeah, and going in, we didn't know how to do any of the code that we had to do to build the sensor or the app, so it was a lot of fun learning how to code, and it definitely opened up like a new door to like a career path that I don't think any of us really had envisioned as a possibility beforehand.
And we're so glad to hear that in trying to sort of create a solution and find a better way for colleagues, you know, the point of Solve is to really introduce the idea of STEM and coding and all of these new avenues that you haven't thought of before. And we're just so excited to see what you've learned, how you've been able to take this idea and find the solution along the way. And the potential of what you guys have been working on is yet to be seen and yet to be heard. But, you know, as you are here during SDC, I hope that many of you guys in the audience and all attendees have a chance to stop by the booth and really talk to them and share your ideas and let them share their ideas with you as well. That's what this developer community is all about. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your idea. Thank you, Cavallini Middle School. So the last school that we brought here to beautiful San Francisco is the Kent CareerTech Center from Grand Rapids, Michigan. They created a virtual reality app that empowers and helps students with autism develop social skills. And so welcome to the stage, McGuire, Keith, and Mr. Petz. Come on up. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Mark Petz, and I am the 3D animation instructor at Kent CareerTech Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Hello, I'm Keith Takins. I'm 19, and I'm currently going to Ferris State.
And I'm McGuire Vanderwall. I am 18, and I'm currently a student at Ferris State University. And we've come here to tell you about our solution to the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow project. We created a tool to help people with autism better learn how to interact socially, whether that be in school, in a job environment, or in their own home.
We've all had troubles in certain situations, but millions of people with autism struggle with social interactions every single day. You may wonder why we chose a project for people with autism. Raise your hand if you know someone with autism. As you can see, I have my hand up. This is why we decided it was time to make a difference.
We think it's important to value all people with disabilities and without, so we thought it would be best to find a solution to this problem that allows you to work out of the palm of your hand.
So autism can lead to problems in the school and workplace, which is why we decided it was time to make a solution to help them interact more effectively, to become confident and comfortable, and to share their gifts or their success. We started with a design thinking process and followed it closely and repeated it until we reached our goal. We were initially using virtual reality, and we eventually switched to the WebXR platform, so with a few clicks of a button, you can access an augmented reality environment just in your living room floor, and you can practice these social interactions in a safe way without any negative consequences, and everyone can have it in the palm of their hand.
And this tool will be platform agnostic, meaning you won't need any special app or extra devices. All you need is a mobile device with the capability of accessing the web to go to the website and selecting the lesson that you want to learn.
Our vision is to get this into the hands of everyone. We made it with people with autism in mind, but it can also be used for people that aren't on the spectrum to understand the challenges and problems that are associated with it. In the future, we hope to make this a service that can do just a click of a button. You can have these tools easily accessible, and also to be able to use it for other types of mental health disorders and disabilities. And we also hope to implement facial expression recognition as a tool for them to help them using machine deep learning.
We think this tool is important because it allows people with autism to practice these social situations before they're actually in them, and it allows people without autism to develop a better understanding and empathy. We welcome you to visit the booth after this presentation is over, and we can.
And we are happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So when we first saw your video submission and learned more about the project, one of the things that really fascinated us was just the context. You know, autism rates continue to increase in the United States and globally, and it's something that people are still learning about. what it is, and knowing someone or raising, having someone in your household with autism. You talked a bit about the fact that pretty much everyone here in the audience and on stage knows someone with autism. Can you tell us why you picked autism versus another topic when you first thought of your project?
So, as you mentioned, autism is one of the fastest growing learning disabilities in the US and really around the world. And with that, there's also challenges in the classroom. It's one of the least funded learning disabilities in our education system. And so there's definitely a need there for some type of tool that teachers and the students can use to overcome some of the challenges. And so that was one of the reasons why we chose this. And then being in a 3D animation and game design program, we discovered that we could use that, we could connect those two together and create a really great product or a tool that can be used by everybody, not just those with autism. Really, what's good for autism is good for everybody, and that's kind of what we discovered.
I think one of the things that we saw in your project that was so great was that that complement of helping those who have autism and are on the spectrum, and also those who are classmates or family members, to also have a deeper understanding of what it is from a challenge perspective and how they can help their friend or loved one overcome it. That's just that complement to it, to increase understanding and empathy was something really beautiful about it. Any questions from the audience about the concept?
Hi, congratulations on the project. It's amazing. I would like to know if you tested the app with autism young men or girls. How many people tested the app, and what were the results, their impressions, if they really were comfortable using the VR gear?
Yeah. So we are actually, our project has evolved to web-based web VR. So we're no longer using the VR headset. As far as testing, we have approval now with our ISD to start doing in-classroom trials. And so we don't have any real hard data as far as the effectiveness of it, but there are research articles out there that support the use of this type of technology to support those type of challenges. So it will be soon that we will be starting some in-classroom trials. As far as those that have used it or just got to observe it, it's well received as far as the demo that we have at this point.
I will say that social skills as a lesson for children with autism is a well-known practice of in learning and in their education. So what's great is something that was very analog has become just this amazing interactive experience with the ideas of these students. So that application, I think, was really amazing to take something that's known and test it and then apply it in a new and a different way.
And we've kind of focused on different specifics for different things that they struggle with. All of our scripts are written by a professional that works at the Kent Transition Center there at our school district. So that we have different scripts. Some scripts are for how to initiate a conversation with someone, how to greet them, or how to share an interest, how to ask someone for help on your homework. Very specific, and help coach them through these specific processes and conversations. And there's also other subtle things in conversations that we've also focused on, trying to help them understand the idea of making eye contact with people you're talking to. Since it's AR and there's these virtual characters, we can track where they're looking at, and we can encourage them to make eye contact with our virtual characters. And if they're not making eye contact while they talk to them, then we can coach them to make better eye contact or give them personal space or do these different things.
Well, the other thing that I think is just a beautiful aspect to your idea has been just the fact that a lot of times coping with mental illness and coping with challenges like learning disability can be socially isolating. But the fact that you've taken something like gaming, a concept like that, and animation, and made it accessible and open, and then as a group to be able to sort of think about in an empathetic and understanding way how to share and learn together. In your video, you do a lot of group learning and group planning, and I think it's been really great in sort of opening the idea of how to learn in different ways, and just dealing with and finding new ways to learn together has been something really magical with your idea. So what's the next step?
So next we hope to get this and like a easily accessible service, so a website that they can go on with almost any device, because we're hoping that soon this gets added to just mainstream browsers, and you just have to go to the website and everyone will have access to this. And other stuff like adding the facial expression tools using machine deep learning, we're pretty close. And just all these awesome tools to just help make this tool just more and more effective.
So more to come. Again, if you are a developer or just interested in the topic, we highly encourage you to stop by and talk to the students from this project, just because there's, one of the great things is in iterating your project to see, you look at different platforms from an accessibility to more people, and just, iteration of an idea. A lot of ideas, as we all know, and anyone in technology knows that, the final idea, as I've mentioned before, is just a step in the direction. There's always ways to improve. New technology invites new opportunities and new platforms for more people to hear and use the ideas that you've come forth and brought into the contest. So, I really want to thank you for really using the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow platform to not just call attention to the idea of autism as a bigger issue, but a solution that I think can help a lot of students across the country and really across the world. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can we give a round of applause to the students? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So hopefully you saw in these 3 examples that we've shared from Michigan, California, and New Jersey, just some of the power and potential of these students to bring forth an idea that's really something that they've been grappling with within the student community they're in or their community at large, and really try and find real applicable solutions to that. We often say on the team who run the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow program that these ideas are better than anything we could come up with, because it really are the challenges and the social issues that are around these students. So it's real, it's applicable, it's not theoretical. And they're working through solutions and concepts and hypotheses to get to a solution. Not always just one solution. Sometimes they come up with many solutions. But you can see actually that marriage of critical thinking, the imagination, and just this desire to make a change in the world happen. And so we are always very humbled by the magic and the ingenuity and just really the commitment of these students to create change, and we are so proud to be able to give them the platform through the contest to be able to do it. So we are right now in the 9th year of the competition. We're still accepting submissions for that, and we have lots of other ideas that have come throughout the 9 years of the contest. So I encourage you to come meet these students, be wowed like we've been wowed all year by how fantastic they are. And if you know schools and teachers who would be interested in submitting ideas to this year's contest, we have till November 13th to do so. So thank you so much for attending our session here at the Open Theater. And please come and learn more about Samsung Solve tomorrow. Thank you very much.